Hey guys, in this episode I'm going to show you how to make colors pop in Photoshop. Hey guys, welcome to Kelvin Designs. My name is Kelvin and I design, and that's why it's called Kelvin Designs. Click right here to subscribe to my YouTube channel and get all these episodes as they come out, and click down here to get the free source files by signing up to my newsletter. In this episode I'm going to show you how to make colors pop in Photoshop. You can see the before right here and the after right here. There's some really simple techniques to completely transform a photo from kind of dull to very dramatic and very colorful. It's pretty simple. Let me show you. All right, so once you've downloaded the files for this episode, which you can find the links to right below in the more information section of the video, you just create an account on kelvindesigns.com and you'll be able to download the free source files. So once those are downloaded, you'll have this folder, and go ahead and open this JPEG in Photoshop. I'm going to go ahead and hide the rulers, don't need those, and zoom in a little bit. I'm in the Essentials workspace, Essentials right here, so if you want it to look the same, that's what you do. Okay, and the first thing we're going to do is actually make a selection of her hair. All right, so to do that, now I have a whole other tutorial on how to select hair very properly and detailed. If you're interested in selection, for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm just gonna show you what I'm doing pretty quickly and do a decent selection, nothing too crazy. I really want to show you how to make colors pop in Photoshop. All right, so go ahead and select this. You notice that it selected everything in here in the skin tone. So hold on the Alt key, just hit the to minus out the skin here. Do that all around. All right, something like this. Get rid of that right here a little bit. Okay, something like that is good. And kind of include this. All right, basic selection, and then go into selecting mask up here. What used to be refine edges is now like this. And this little second brush here, which is the refine edges, make it about this size, and basically you brush over the area where you want it to kind of do a edge detection. It's pretty simple. In cases where it's a little bigger, you can make that brush a little bigger, like so. Holding down the Alt and Control, and just go over here like this. Okay, using the space bar to move around. All right. Pretty simple stuff. All right, I go in here like so, a little smaller. Go here, pretty good. Okay, I want the selection to be 2. It's not. It's okay. So I'm doing basic color correction on these to make them pop. So the selection is important, but it's not like I'm changing the background where the edge is going to be extremely visible. So it's a little less dramatic as far as how important that edge is. All right, something like this is pretty good. It's a little rough in here, so I'm going to take the normal brush here, make it a little bigger, softer. Whoops, undo that. And let's just make this, make this a little bit smaller and just add right there, add there. They're pretty good. Pretty happy with that. Okay, and hit OK. And here we go, we got our selection. Okay, the first thing I do when I have a selection is I create a group, and we're going to make a curves. Well, before we do the curves, we're actually going to turn the selection into a mask of this group. And let's call this group hair. All right, now in this group, we're going to add a curves. All right, and we're going to increase the contrast. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can see what we're doing. So darks darker and lights lighter. Now my my curves is probably inverted from what you have, because you have probably the default, and I come from a print background, so I have my curve display options set to pigment and ink, not light. So if your whites are up here and your darks are down here, just do an S curve. All right, so it's the opposite. And if you want to use the similar settings I have, just go in there, settings, and change it to pigment ink. All right, so you can see that this is the default, and I have it like so. All right, so something like this. I add a little S curve, so I'm making the darks darker and the highlights a little lighter. And let's see that before and after. Okay, pretty good. So getting a little too dark, so I'm more than making my darks darker, I want to brighten up my highlights and midtones a little bit. Let's see that before, after. All right, it's definitely adding some contrast there. I like that. And let's go ahead and add a little bit of saturation. Just go in here, hue saturation, just increase the saturation maybe like plus 14. So that's considerably stronger already. And I kind of like that. We can go ahead and do some more changes later on, but for now, let's say this is our hair color correction, okay? All right, next thing we're going to do is the skin tones. So let's go ahead once again and select skin tones. So I do not want the hair, and I want this, okay, no hair, like so, okay, something like this. I do want the earlobe in here, okay, oh, it's decent. All right, once again, select and mask, and let's go ahead and kind of soften. So I wanted to find the edge a little better. So I'm going to say a few things. I wanted to feather the edge a little bit. I want to smoothen a little bit. And that's pretty good. Okay, and then here, let's just go ahead and make a little selection right here. Okay. Oh, my bad. Undo that. Undo that again. I wanted the refine edges tool. That's why that didn't work out. So go right here, and I'm just doing the edge. I wanted to kind of do some edge detection right there. I don't want the hair, I just want the skin tones. Okay, that's pretty good. Something here. Okay. Just kind of smoothing it out. I just wanted to, like I said, find the edges of the skin, and that should work out. Okay, something like that is pretty good. All right. We can always go and soften this later, but for now, let's do this. Let's say this is fine. Hit OK. And now I'm going to, once again, create a group, turn this into the mask. And for this one, I'm going to create a layer. And I'm going to, with the eyedropper tool, or eye, right here, I'm going to pick a part of her skin tone. Something not too dark, not too desaturated, but good color. So I would say something like this, okay? And then I'm going to go ahead and fill it, so you can do that by Shift F5 or going right there. Foreground color, normal, okay? Now you see it's flattened, it's put in that color everywhere, okay? And it's hidden by this mask. Take this layer and turn it into color, okay? So now it's completely taken all the color out, and it's applied this one color, which is not exactly what we want to do, but it's a good start. So basically, there's a few too many color aberrations that are like, I mean, the blue is from the environment, but look in her skin, there's a little too much blotchiness, I would say. So I put it back in there, and I'm going to turn this down to, say, 70%. Okay, so the opacity is now down to 70. And then I'm going to go ahead and hold on the Alt key and mask. So that turns the whole, it adds a mask totally black, which means I can now take a brush tool, okay, make it a little bigger, and I'm basically going to brush whites on the mask, okay? So I want this whole area, okay? So you see I've added that, and let's make it a little smaller. And I'm going to do a 50% brush, okay? So right up here you can see 50, and I'm just going to go in here where I feel like there's maybe a little blotchiness, and I'm going to add some of that, I'm revealing from that mask, all right? Here, here. Okay, I am definitely getting rid of some of that blue that was from the environment. You know, she's in front of the lake. But I also like that I'm getting rid of some of the blotchiness. See, before, after. I don't know if you can see that on the video too much, but on my screen it's pretty apparent, and you can kind of see that. Just make sure this is, yeah, we're fine here. We're just kind of evening out the skin a little bit. All right, so before and after, and I kind of like that. I do want to add a little bit of contrast, not too much. So let's go over here in curves, and just not too much in the shadows, more in the highlights, something like this, okay, and like that. I do want to bring it below, so this is below that color, which means that the color will be in the highlights again, which is what I want. So that's not too bad. Maybe a little too dark. Let's bring this down a touch, and something like this. All right, that's pretty good. And next we're going to, oh, I forgot to call this skin. There we go. And next we're going to do the eyes. Now for the eyes, I'm going to do a little differently. I'm just going to create a group, call it eyes. And in here, I'm going to create a curves, and I'm going to adjust it, and I'm just going to pay attention to the eyes. So I want it considerably brighter, very much brighter, something like so. Okay, and let's go to vibrance and add some vibrance and some saturation, something like this. A little less saturation, definitely higher in the vibrance. Okay, let's see. Okay, and then I'm going to alt click the mask button, which adds a black mask to the eyes, which I can now go in here and zoom in 100%. Take the brush tool, B for brush, and at 20% opacity, up here you can see that. I'm going to take a very small brush. I'm going to start to paint in her eye, okay? And I try to do one eye, every brush stroke I kind of evenly do for both eyes, okay? I'm trying to lighten up the area where we can see her pupil a little better. That's always kind of nice. I don't want to brighten the white too much because that has a tendency to look fake. But just a little bit, and if it's too much, I can always go and cut it out a little bit. So let's zoom out a little bit and see what we got. Kind of like what we have. The white may be a little too strong. Before, after, a little too strong. So hit X to invert, and now it's black. And I can go ahead and hide right here in the corner, here too, and here. So I had too much. There was too much being brightened in the white. So right now, that's pretty good. I kind of like that. If we feel like it's a little too strong, well, we can always just turn down the opacity of this whole group, something like 78%. It's a little lighter. Anyway, pretty cool way to sort of get detail in the eyes. All right, and we're actually going to do the same thing for the mouth. So in this case, we can actually start by doing a mask. In this case, I'm going to go to quick mask. So down here, click on that, or Q for quick mask. Opacity 100. In this case, I suggest using 4585. That's sort of my go-to for selections. And let's zoom in to 300%, something like this. And so whatever I draw is going to be masked. So sort of pink like that. So it's a little too strong. That 85 is a little strong. So let's do 40. So yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, zoom out a little bit. And here, and I shift click. I'm holding down the shift key, which basically connects the two dots of where I'm selecting. Okay, and here, let's go down here. I'm gonna go ahead and do this in several goes. Okay, all right, and let's X to get the white, and that way you can kind of fine tune your selection a little bit, like so. All right, maybe a little up here. Okay, that's pretty good. All right, hit Q again, and now you have a selection. And that orange color definitely was not the intended color, it's just the mask. All right, so click on the mask over here, and now in this mask, let's go and go to curves, and let's darken a little bit. Okay, maybe a little contrast, a little bit of an S curve, not too strong. Okay, looks like we've applied a little bit of a lipstick there. If you want it to look really shiny, then you need a lot of contrast, which means bring this down and this up. I think I don't really like that look too much, so I'm just going to bring this mostly just something like this. Okay, and like that. And we could eventually go in here. Don't think I want to keep it, but I'll show you how to do it. Create a hue saturation, do colorize, all right? Bring the saturation up a little bit, or a lot, and pick a color that you like, maybe in the pinks, somewhere here maybe. Okay, not crazy about this color, but let's say this is the color you wanted. Kind of tone it down a little bit, and you can turn the opacity down of this a little if it's too strong, but you can see that now before, see we've applied a color. Let's try to do that to a more of an orange, So something more like this. And let's saturate that a little bit more. That's pretty good. Like that. Okay, so you can see before, after the lip correction, it's definitely giving her a little more color in the lips. We can go to the curves again and just sort of accentuate that a touch. Don't want the very dark areas to get too dark because that's going to add a lot of shadows. So just kind of in the midtones. Let's go back to here, see if we can get anything better. I think more in the reds, that's nicer. So that's pretty good. Before, after. Like I said, if it's too strong, just turn down the whole group. Whoop, that was actually the hue set. I don't want that. Bring this to like 50, and the group itself we can bring down to 60. Okay. All right. And then let's do a similar thing for her for the sweater. We should call this lips. Okay, close that. All right, and then let's go back here with the wand tool here, and we're going to select her sweater. Okay, something like that, and like that. All right, once again. Oh, we're in quick mask mode. Let's get out of quick mask mode and do this right. So here and here. Earlier I accidentally clicked on Q, which put me in the quick mask mode. So, all right, so once we're in here, select and mask, and let's go ahead and make sure that this area right here is selectable. So it's this, telling it basically go in here. All right, we want a little smooth, a little feather, something like that. All right, a little more feather, a little more feather, less smooth, something like that. Okay, and let's create a new group. Footer and mask, and let's create a curves. Once again, bring this up, bring this down. Usually in the S curve, I have a tendency to keep the 3/4 tones as they were and lower the quarter tones. So it usually has a nice result. Something like this. Let's see, before, after. Let's go to the blues and see what we can do. I don't want it to be too vibrant, but a little bit, right? Trying to get those colors to pop. Something like that. And let's bring this down even further. Okay, kind of like that. And zoom out a little bit. Here we go. Definitely got a bluer blue in out of that. Maybe a little too strong. Let's go back to the blue and just bring that up a touch. Okay. All right. And then we have the background. So the background, back to this tool. Let's zoom in a little bit. And we'll just pick everything around here. Okay. Not this. Not the blue sweater. Okay, not the hair. All right, something like this. And then once that's done, go to select and mask. Now, it's really hard to tell which is which because of the view mode. So in this case, the view mode should probably be overlay, something like that. All right. And then let's take the refine edges and just say, okay, go in here, a little bigger maybe. Off here, like so. So there we go. It's pretty good. And then maybe just on the edge of this sweater. The better the selection, the better the effect, always. So the technique here is not so much about selection, but more about the color. But if you put a little more care in the selection process, the result is even better. All right, so hit OK on that, and now we're going to create a new group and call it background, like so, and create a mask, and go back in here, and in this case, we're going to darken it considerably. I want to get a lot of that color back. All right, I know it used to make her stand out more, but I kind of want it to have more color. So do that. Let's go to vibrance, add some saturation, add some vibrance, maybe even more, something like that. Okay, kind of like that. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's see, before, after, pretty good. I like that. If I want it to be a little fuzzier after my selection, another cool little trick is go and click on this mask just feather that selection a little bit. See how that turns out. See that it's feathering that selection. Maybe a little too much, but see in this case it creates a halo, which I don't really want. So just kind of in between there, something like that, right? Before, after. And okay, the only part here that I'm not very happy with is her skin tone. It's a little flattened, and that's because I basically applied a single color to that. So before and after. I feel like this is a little too strong. I'm going to turn this down to say 30%, and this is my curves. It's not bad. Not bad. I feel like I can lighten my skin tones a touch. Let's try that. Go here and lighten it. There you go. That's kind of nice. It's bringing maybe I'll add a little warmth. So let's see. What the other way around? Here, just a touch. Okay. Let's bring in yeah. I'm bringing it down a little bit. Just gonna turn this down so you can see where my input output is. 46 to 48. Let's see what that does before, after. It's a little nicer. I think that yellow's a little strong. I'm gonna get rid of that. Take that out. Before, after. It's better. It's better. So what's nice is now I have all these selections, and I feel like, okay, well, I wanted her hair to be even redder, let's say. So I can go into this this group. I could create a new layer in here. Let's put this on color. Okay, I'm gonna pick eyedrop. I'm gonna pick something really bright like this. Hit B. Okay, and I'm just gonna brush for now. I'm just brushing in here. I know I'm exaggerating, obviously, but I wanted this side to be even redder than it was. Right, all these darker areas that felt like they had not enough color. And let's bring this down 40 or even lower, and add a mask to this specific layer, and I'm going to mask out areas that I feel a little strong. I like it in the highlights there. I don't want it really that close to her skin. Something like this. So you can see before, after, that really kind of got more color in there, and without it looking too artificial. Okay. So there we go. We have all the groups, and as far as making everything pop, we can kind of see. Let's look at the overall before and after. This is the original, and this is the final result. So those colors are definitely popping. All right, guys, I hope you learned something, and if you did, it really helps me out if you like the video and share it on Facebook. I'll see you in the next episode.